So today we're going to review these things, which are the Tibbo technology. So these are from IO Ninja. These are different, like serial taps and Ethernet tap and I2C SPI tap. I showed these in a mailbag recently. You may have seen them. If you didn't, then go watch my mailbag as well. But I'll be playing with this one today. This has got a select of options. So you've got RS485, RS232 and UART TTL level. So also you've got the RS232s on the side here, so it's got like a pass-through connection, and you can do configuration changes on these jumpers here. Also we've got this connection up here for all the wires, so you can just push the wires in, and you've got these little release tab things. So you can shove a wire in there and hook up to these different types up here. Also do the 232 as well. Down here we've got some activity LEDs, and also you have to switch between which one you're going to be doing. So I've been playing with the UART TTL one today, because there's a bit of equipment I was just curious about, and I wanted to actually do some probing on it. So I actually waited for this thing to arrive so I could actually do the probing. I could have done it with my oscilloscope or my logic analyzer, but I wanted to use this for it. There's a bit of a test to see how well it goes. The best thing about the system is that it runs on the Mac OS as well, so I've actually got Mac software, which means I can plug this into my Mac, which is what it's plugged into right now, and I can use these things, which is brilliant. Normally I have to use a PC, and it's a bit of a pain because this has to go on the laptop, and I've got a laptop which I install the software on. Then I have to try and make bench space for it, and you see me use a PC multiple times when I've been doing logic analyzer type stuff on it, like the 0 Plus logic analyzer, use it on it. But it's a pain. I don't like using PC. I hate PCs. I hate PCs with a passion. But they're a necessary evil. You know, having something I can plug into my Mac, which is the computer I use every day, is brilliant. So the fact they've got Mac support on these is excellent. So really happy about that part. I should also say these are given to me at no cost. So these 3 taps and all the software options, so they've been given to me at no cost for the purpose of review. So I haven't paid for these, just to be completely clear. I actually have a discount code down below in the description. Right, so open the description up down there, and you get a discount code, and you can use that to buy these things at a discount from the website. Now I do get a kickback from that. I am on a commission, so if you do buy one, you're also helping to support the channel, which is, I think, a good thing in my point of view. Probably from your point of view too. Any money I get from that goes back into the channel. I don't make money as such. It goes back in, and I buy test gear and things like that to fix. So I don't actually make any money from it. But definitely go and check the website out down below. There's links down there. Follow website links, explore more about these things. There's so much these can do. Make sure you check those out, because it can just do so much. What I'm going to cover in this video is nothing compared to what they're capable of doing. Right? I'm only going to be scratching the surface of what they can do. So go to the website, read the documentation, have a browse around, see what feature sets say they can do and what they cover. And I believe these things also do get more features added over time as well. They're upgradable. Go and check those out. And like I said, I've got the discount code. Use it. Save yourself some money. So that's the serial tap, which I'll show you more detail in soon. We also have an Ethernet tap. Yeah, a USB cable, which is what this is here. Basically you've got a Ethernet controller in here, and you've got Ethernet ports, and it's basically sniffing the ports. On the size of that chip, it's a Max 10 or Terra Max. So this one you can use to sniff the Ethernet networks and check for activity. Now the only thing with this is it's limited 100 megabit. You can't do gigabit or 2.5 gigabit or anything like that. It's 100 megabit only, 10 or 100. If you're doing gigabit speeds, it may not work. Or maybe it will renegotiate back down to 100 megabit, I really don't know. But this allows you to do networking issues. So if you've got some software developing or some hardware developing which uses Ethernet, you can then plug this in series with it, in and out, and you can basically sniff the network and see what's going on. You know, hardware level sort of thing. So in case you've got some kind of hardware problem or something like that, you could maybe diagnose it with this. So I haven't actually played with the Ethernet one yet. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to basically show you this one. I'll do some experiments with the other units, and I'll do video on those ones as well. Whether or not I include it all in the same video, I'm not sure yet, but I may do. So this other one here is probably the one that's most likely to be used by most people. This is the I2C and SPI Tap. So you've also got some configuration options up here for voltages levels. 2.3 volt, 5 volt VIO. I'm not quite sure what the story is in that one. I guess that's based on a supply voltage here. Maybe it's got level conversion. I'm guessing here. I don't know. I should really read the manual. Down the left hand side there, you've got all these connections. So also you can do the SDO, SDA and MOSI, MISO kind of rubbish. You know, all down the side here. And you've got a whole bunch of data pins as well, which I think you can do something with. I don't actually know about that bit yet. And also we've got activity LEDs down the left hand side too. Again, I haven't played with this one yet. I will play with this. I've got a test board I can hook this up to and actually just monitor it and see how it works. So we're doing that as well. So with the serial tap, it comes with these gender changes as well, obviously for the IS-232s. Maybe you need these for changing your cabling or something like that. So it comes supplied with those, it's nice. So I'm going to show you the software in a minute. This is actually what I was wanting to sniff, is this thing here. The Victron Energy Smart Shunt. So this has got, it's called a VE Direct output. Now this is actually documented. It does actually have a document from Victron Energy telling you how to connect to this, how to interpret the data, that sort of stuff. I want to actually just probe it and see if this can actually measure that data okay or not. So let's actually hook it up. Now the black wire in this particular connector is one I've just happened to shove in there. The black wire is actually ground, so that's quite nice. So we'll shove this into the ground. There's a few of them, so I'll just choose the right one, make sure I get lined up. There's a ground there, push that down so I can get the cable locked in. Might need to use a screwdriver instead of my fingernail, we'll see we go. Okay, it's in. And the white wire here is the one we want to sniff on. Okay, this one we want to sniff. We'll put this into the RX port, in this case. Okay, and as you can see there, the RX is pulsing. That's showing activity. This is actually pulsing. The data outputs apparently once a second, so that's a 1 second pulse, which is each time the data is being sent through the system. So this is now active. Let me go and show you on the computer. In fact, before I show you the computer, I'll show you something else I've discovered. Now the software is actually really good, and I've been quite impressed by it. You can actually select other serial devices. It doesn't have to be one of these modules which you buy from them. It can accept other serial sources, such as one of these standard little USB to serial adapters which you may use for Arduino or ESP32 programming or whatever. So it actually works with these too. So I have actually had this thing hooked up, plugged it in, used the serial communication of this to do exactly the same testing, and it also worked absolutely fine. Because it's got an alternative input mode, you can just choose a different source and things like that and change the type of configuration, and then you can actually use one of these as well. So I'm going to show you that information too on a computer when we go there. So here we are in the software. Now I'm going to give you a quick overview of what the software does first, and then we'll look at the actual output I'm getting from this device and explain a bit more about that. So the very top menu here, Ninja, got that bit. Preferences and things like that, standard stuff. Sessions, layer pipeline, opening stuff, open recents, which you can actually do for sessions. It calls them sessions, so you can open previous ones if you saved them. You log information, things like that. There's all this stuff here. Other views, terminal view, floating and tabbed. I'll explain that shortly. Control panel, information panel, and script panel. So you also do those, system logs, and some other buttons and stuff which are also along the top here. Alright, so it's the top menu. In here we have options for what we're actually doing. So we've got Ninja hardware, so serial tap, which is what I showed you just now, which is what's currently configured. You also got the Ethernet tap and the I2C SPI tap. I will play with those and do a video about those as well. Then you've got serial communications, which is a serial information, so you can actually use another device. It doesn't have to be one of these manufactured taps by Ninja. Ideally it is what you use because it's very versatile, but you can also do your own serial tap. So like I showed, you've got the USB to serial adapter. That works in here if you use this option here. We've got some other things in here as well for serial communications and stuff. Network communications, this is obviously mainly if you're doing the Ethernet tap. You've got all these different communication things here you can monitor and look at. I haven't looked at these at all yet myself. We've also got USB. You can do USB diagnostics as well on this stuff. You can monitor those and some other stuff which I haven't played with at all. I've only explored the serial tap so far. So there's lots of things it can do which I haven't played with yet. It's very versatile. In here we've got some other protocol analyzers as well, so you can check for communication issues. In here you can open a recently saved or a saved document. So I've saved these, as it calls them, sessions. I've saved those. There's 2 of them in here. I've saved those so I can actually open them and refer to them as well. And this is where you save them as well, saving and saving logs. We've got a data thing here, so we can change the view from hex and plain text. You can choose to do what you've already got on screen if you want to just update what's already there, or if you only want to change it for what comes in next. So forward only means after you've changed it. Rebuild all means what's on screen. So if I do plain text now, rebuild all, it changes it to this. Right? Rebuild all on that one. You've got a search option, so you can search what's in there in text and in binary. You've got regex checking as well, so you can also use this for building searches and for looking for certain things, finding matches. This one here will clear the data, so it will clear this window. This is a terminal window here, floating and tagged, or tabbed. So right now it's a floating window over here. These are terminal windows, I've got 2 of them here. So they're both currently floating windows. If I wanted to make it tabbed, it would jump into here and it'd be a little button down the bottom instead, so I'll show you that. Tabbed goes down there. Alright, so now you can change it from down here, change the 2 views at the bottom down here instead. So I'm going to put back to floating and put it back over here. You can also change the views on the panel, so this is the control panel, so you can hide and show that. You've got the information panel on the right hand side, you can hide and show that. Now when you're doing a different protocol, like if I go to this one here which is serial, it gives you different options up here which are currently hidden, or were hidden, so you can turn those on and off as well. So we've got a script pane which shows up anyway, but I'm not using scripting, so I'm not really worried about that. Okay, and then we've got the packet list pane which is on the right hand side, the bottom there. History pane also at the bottom, so you can turn these tabs on and off, so library and history. And then we've got the packet list and packet library option as well. Packet history and packet library, I should say, down there. So there's different views and stuff. You can actually drag these things around and change views as you need them. Obviously down the left hand side you've got the information for the current configuration, like in this case I'm using a serial protocol, and so you've got the serial settings down here. And the same for this one, it's also a serial protocol, so therefore also you've got the serial settings. And you've got information about the actual data and stuff down here as well. Settings. Quite a few settings in here. Various options, you can change the views and figures things. So I'm going to skip my account because it shows information about me there. And drag this down a bit so you have to do this bit of scrolling. Right. So there's sort of settings in that pane for log engine. Timestamps, binary data. So you can see I've got this display CRLF and tab characters. If I change that, you can see you've got this display. Each time you open this window it changes size, which is a little bit annoying. Wish you remember the last size. But you can turn it on and off, which displays the character display down here. It changes that character display down here. So if you want to hide those characters, then you can do that. There's also got this option here for simple view and advanced view for changing how it shows the characters. Right, so I'll do this and I'll show you advanced and rebuild it. There we go. So now it shows it like this instead. Shows the characters as nulls. I did change that before. Anyway, so there's that. So it shows as dots, which is fine. That's how most things do show things. Terminal's got the same sort of thing as well. So transmit panel's got lots of options in there as well. If you're transmitting data back to a serial interface or whatever it may be. So lots of things you can do in here. Jansi is a scripting language which is written by the guy which wrote this software. So it's basically a C-esque language. So you can actually do scripting in it as well, which is based on Jansi. You've got fonts and sizes and colours you can change here as well. Okay. That's that stuff. Now it sets you to do a capture. Obviously this is one I've already got for capture, so let's clear this. So now I'm not showing anything. And now we'll do a capture. This is live data coming in from that device. That's what I captured. And what we've got, as I showed before, we go between a text view which shows that data, that's what I was looking for, but it shows these characters, invalid characters in there. Then you pull these settings up, and let's go here and go don't display them. Move this over, apply it, there we go, now it's cleaned all that up. Okay, but sometimes you actually want to know the special characters in there, so I'm going to leave it on. In the terminal over here, you can also see it as plain text. Right, it's exactly the same information. Okay, so these match up. So if you want to see plain text simply, you can do it in the terminal and look at it in there instead of changing settings in here. Might be a convenient way of doing it. And I've done a capture on both this and the USB to serial adapter. This is USB to serial adapter conversion as well. It works exactly the same way. So you can actually choose your source. So up here, you can choose your serial source. So I plugged in the USB to serial adapter. It popped up in here, and I was able to look at that and then capture data from that. You can also do Bluetooth, but I haven't played with that one. I don't know. It just shows up as a serial device. That's how that one worked. So here's serial communication serial, which is what brought this one up, and then I was able to select it from the list of devices, configure it as required, and it worked. So you don't necessarily have to have the IO Ninja hardware. You can actually use your own hardware with this software. You can get a mixture of both. You could do some stuff with their equipment, some of your equipment. This can do so many things. They've got so many options. If you look at the website, it just covers so much, and the documentation is extremely good as well, it looks like it. So I suggest you look at the website too and check out their stuff and see what they actually offer. They have a subscription model, monthly and annual subscriptions, which gives you everything, all the features, or you can get individual licenses for each feature that you're going to use, which are a permanent license, I believe. So once you buy it once, that's it, you own it. There's no more worrying about it. So if there's certain things you don't use, you don't have to worry about buying those licenses. You only buy licenses for things you are going to use. Now these serial taps, these are part of the software, and they don't require licensing. So if you buy the gear and you buy the taps, it will just work. You don't need a license, you don't need to do anything, you just have to download the software and use it, and it works. You don't need licensing. So setting up an account is probably a good thing to do anyway, but it doesn't actually require you to pay any more money. It's included, basically. So now I've hooked up the I2C SPI Tap. I've configured it, so I come over here, chose the hardware option, IO Ninja hardware, come down and chosen this one here. Right, this is what we've got on screen now. I come over here, change this to I2C to SPI, and so that should be basically ready to go. I've hooked it up. Now I've actually had this going just now, and the first thing it did is updated the FPGA firmware. So the FPGA had a firmware update, and it did the firmware update. That was nice. It just did it as part of the capture. So I did start capture, and it says here, I'll just stop now at the very top because it's grabbed a load of data here. Capture started, right? But above that, FPGA firmware is up to date. So check the firmware of the FPGA, and did an update before it started doing anything. So make sure it's all up to date. Now what I'm doing here is I'm capturing on the Siglent STB3 sample board. It does all sorts of outputs and stuff for testing oscilloscopes and things like that. So it's just outputting Siglent and some characters, which is what it's doing here. This is what we're getting. So it's indeed reading the I2C data just fine. Right, let's do one more test. Let's do the Ethernet tap. I've already hooked it up. I've got it stiff in the network. Ethernet tap. Here we go, it's importing. There it is. I'm not looking at any filters. Right, let's just start capture. Oh, there we go. It's working. So there we go. Let's just do a stop there. So it checked the FPGA firmware again. Make sure it's up to date. That's good. And then it's stiff network, and it's looking at network traffic. And you can see the traffic going backwards and forwards there and what it's doing. So it's sniff on a frame here, and there we go. It tells us what's going on in that frame. It tells the payload and stuff like that. Nice. That's coming from a laptop, which is sending data out to this address. Very interesting. Right, that's working right. It means it tells you what's going on in the network. Let's do another capture, and we'll see if anything else more interesting is in there. Scroll it down a bit. Same sort of stuff. It's from other devices on the network. It's got IPv6 going on as well, which is not really used on my network anyway. Okay, so there's lots of things going to this 239. Interesting. So that 239 thing, I just had a quick look at this. That's a multicast address, so that's completely normal. Nothing to worry about there, but it's still interesting. So there's the Ethernet tap. That's how I was using it. Just plugged into the network, just like that. Yes, it's got a broken tap. So that's easy enough. That works fine. Wonderful. So don't forget to check out the Tibbo website and the IO Ninja website, which I'll link down below, and check out the voucher. Right, there's a voucher for this, which gives you some money off the purchase price. So if you are interested in buying any of these things, check out the website and use my voucher to get a discount code, and you can get a discount off the price of these things when you buy them. I also get a commission off those as well, just for disclosure, so I do earn a little bit of money from that. So if you do buy one of these, you're also helping to support my channel and help me to buy test equipment to do repairs on, that sort of stuff. Right, any money I do make from the channel goes back into the channel. I don't pocket it. In fact, I run the channel at loss. It actually costs me money to run the channel, but that's besides the point. Check out the website, see what options these things have. They've got loads of features and loads of things you can do with them. I've barely scratched the surface of what these can do. I'll just give you a bit of a brief overview, give you a bit of a feel for it, but definitely go and check that out. And don't forget, use the discount code if you do buy one. Save yourself some money with using that code. Thanks a lot, IO Ninja and Tibbo Technology, for sending me these at no cost. And I've got some more little tools to fiddle with in the future. I'm doing certain tasks. I'm sure used in the future. You'll see them in videos at various times when I need to do these particular things. Check out links down below. Subscribe over there if you're not already subscribed. Patreon support link over there if you want to help support the channel, and donate. It's only a couple of dollars a month, and you can help me to buy basic test gear and things. Catch you later.